On a crucial event in the context of requalifying for the championship tour, as we see the raging bull Mark Occhilupo picking off a nice one here. Clean slice off the top, Shauno, and Ock, he's looking really fit at the moment.
Yeah, it's actually just up there hanging with Dummer and Ock, and they were sussing out the lineup, Ron. And here is Damien Hardman. Well, Damien was looking at these rights, which are further up towards Queenscliff. Occhi was eyeing off the lefts. And that backhand hasn't lost its glimmer, Ron.
Those hip replacements of Dummer and Barton haven't affected them too negatively either.
Oh, now I'm going to get one too.
The bionic man.
Oh,
BL.
What?
His big drop wallet.
Pull in, old mate.
So these lefts are down the beach and just running. Yeah, BL thinks it's 87 all over again.
Oh, he looks good on that Maurice Cole.
Forward to the beach.
That was mental. That was a great ride for Barton. Still going. But Joe Turpel, he asked me who I thought was going to take this out. I said Damien Hardman's going to be pretty hard to beat, just based off some of the recent surfing I've seen Damien do. But in saying that, Tom Carroll, Mark Occhilupo, Barton Lynch, they're all still
They're all frothing
ripping.
man-groms.
They are.
They don't grow up, these boys.
Look at this style, though,
yeah, it's just jumped back in the hot tub time machine and gone back to 87. They've wound up at 87. Looking at younger versions of themselves. They're back at the Coke Classic.
They are. They've got the jerseys on, they're frothing. They're all nervous. They're all excited to be surfing with each other and reliving the glory days.
But it's supposed, we send them out there as a bit of hit and giggle, of course, fun and, catch a few waves. But telling them not to be competitive, it's like, telling a bird don't fly. It's like, it's so ingrained in their surfing and who they are. And when the four of them are out there together, they won't be able to help themselves.
Oh, no.
Richie Lovett, local surfer here, who went on to have a great CT career. He's out there in the lineup. And Rich, for you, it's a bit of a throwback to those Coke Classic days when the event was running here and you were just sitting on the beach. Now you're out in the water. Must feel good.
Yeah, Ronnie, it's a different perspective from out here. And as you can see behind me, thousands, literally thousands of people on the beach watching this unfold. And surfing royalty, Australian surfing royalty, multiple world champions. There's a couple of hip replacements, couple of ear operations, a shoulder reconstruction and a few other things. But the boys are putting on an awesome show. I saw Barton from the back throwing a ton of spray, so I know he was a little nervous going in, but he seems to have loosened up a bit. A few tactics coming into play, the other boys sitting down there on the northern bank. So we'll watch this unfold. Hopefully I can get a word or two from one of these guys mid-heat.
You might even get a wave or two, Rich.
Hey, Rich, have they incorporated a four-man priority system out there, or are they going to hassle each other?
No, look, they said that they're not going to do the priority, but rest assured, I reckon that's a good thing. I like to see the old bit of the tactics, bit of the mongrel come into play. We know that each and every single one of these guys won't give an inch, so there may even be a blow-up or two. You never know.
Well, there's four mongrels in the water, so it should be all right.
Love it.
Thanks, Rich.
Hey, we've seen some pretty amazing moments here, Sean. Not just this week, but throughout history. Of course, Manly was the stage for the first world titles, which were taken out by Midget Farrelly and Phyllis O'Donnell. But the northern beaches of Sydney have produced many champions. And Ock, well, he's from just over the pond.
Yeah, he's from the south side, of course, but spent a ton of time over here as a kid. Watched all the Coke Classics growing up.
Are we claiming him now because he's a shy boy? Is that right?
Well, he technically lives north of the bridge.
Right.
It's just in Queensland.
It's like claiming Crowded House and Russell Crowe, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, well, here goes BL. Snapping that turn there, very precise. Lining up this little inside runner. And, also got to, the other thing we've got to be thankful for, how good's the surf?
How good is it? How good is
It's kind of
Manly?
pumping. It's kind of pumping right now. Yeah, I know, you're claiming it.
I am claiming it.
Of course.
This is the best stretch of surf we've ever had.
Yeah, I know. We've had a really good run here this week.
Yes.
And it's held on and probably delivered its best day today.
That's it, to see it come up on the final day. BL still allowing that tail to slide, trusting in that hip replacement. Okay, I'll let it go. And then waiting for this open face just to present itself to him. The great thing about surfing is these guys have been surfing longer than most of us have been alive. And the great thing about surfing is that you can do that, right? It's not a sport like tennis or cricket or rugby or swimming where you do it from a young age and then you get to a point of retirement and you never do it ever again. It's part of our lifestyle, it's part of our DNA, and it's a part of actually keeping our lives in perspective and ourselves in balance.
We know Richie Lovett came down here and watched those early surf events and got inspired to take up a career in professional surfing. Tell us about your journey to professional surfer world champ status, Lane.
Well, looking at Tom Carroll right now, he was a really integral part of my journey. Actually, all of these boys have had an influential impact on my journey towards being a world champion. Barton Lynch obviously surfed down at Queenscliff and North Stain. I remember one of the first waves I caught out at Queenscliff, and I heard this woo, and Barton actually cheered me on. And one of the boys paddled out went, "Barton Lynch just hooted at you." I'm like, yes, I've made it. How was that rail transition of TC? He's lost nothing, but then here's a frothing mangrom and stand-up paddleboards from Newport to Fairy Bower and back in the morning.
Yeah, well, Tom's
just to wake up.
Tom's being held together by some tape at the moment, as usual. Tommy's always got something on.
Poor
but
TC.
of course,
He's had some horror injuries over the years.
Yeah, but if you had of course, you had to switch your TV on about a week ago, you would have seen the Eddie Cow Invitational featuring one Thomas Victor Carroll. And I was having a chat with him yesterday about it. He rolled on. You saw that wave? Did you see that one Tom paddled for?
Mm-hmm.
Tom paddled for this thing. It was a beast. It was beyond the boil. It was probably a 30-footer.
So it closed out.
And he was right on the top of it. Had this little roll in at the top, and he paddled, got those little arms going, like furiously paddled to get into it, and then jumped to his feet. And the wind actually came up the valley and blew him back right at the critical moment. And he said it was probably the gods telling him it was a good thing, because Jamie Mitchell had taken it on the inside, and Tom would have free fell straight on top of Jamie Mitchell from about 40 foot up.
And encountered probably one of the worst enemies of his life.
Yes, but also, of course, Tom, last time they held the Eddie in 2009, Tom broke his ankle the day before surfing Waimea.
It's
he just
dangerous.
He can't help himself out there.
He can't. But he did say that when he got to the beach that morning, in regular conditions, he would never have even considered paddling out there on that kind of day. Because once Waimea gets over 20 feet, it closes out. So it's good to see these guys still having a crack. And how was the heritage heat that Tom did out at Pipe?
Oh, that was so cool.
That was really cool. He even got the board spray, the same as that trademark snap under the lip. Well, he was really the first person to ever do that manoeuvre out at Pipe.
Oh, incredible.
Look at the Iceman. Still ripping.
Still ripping.
I did beat Dulmer in a single fin competition recently.
Oh, nice.
He's still in therapy. But he's ripping.
He is. Right here, JS, and looking very comfortable out here.
Very smooth. But just to finish off the question that you asked earlier, when I moved out of home when I was 21, I actually moved to Tom Carroll's house.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And the barter system was he would give me free rent if I babysat his children, but because I surfed so much,
Kids ran wild.
Kids ran wild and I was kicked out. I was evicted.
That's a cool story. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so Tom was my first landlord. Thomas Victor Carroll. And so I travelled the tour with him and trained with him, and there's nothing more frightening than when you're running up Palm Beach sand dunes, you hear Tom Carroll behind you going, "What do you reckon, LB? What do you reckon?" Like, I reckon I want to hurl when I get to the top. That's what I reckon.
Well, we're going to check in once again with Richie Lovett. He's got a special guest in the lineup.
I only got 30 minutes of my life. You better make it. Oh, no, I'm with BL right now. BL, how's the ticker and the hip holding up, mate? Doing good, mate. Fun out here. Out of breath when you're trying really hard, but fun waves and everyone's getting them. There's plenty of them. Hold the phone. I better get back to it.
Richie, can you ask him who's winning the heat?
You can't stop these guys. That's that competitive mongrel coming back into play. They don't want to talk to me. They want to smash each other.
Yes. Cheers to that, Rich.
Oh, watch this. Dulmer just got piped on the inside here. See him cruising along. Watch it, little bowl out here in a second. Little stall turn, setting it up. And, you know what happens next. Straight under the lip. Go on, come on.
What?
And out.
I'm feeling pretty good about my pick so far.
That's a heat winner right there. Is he going to finish it as well?
Yeah, of course he is. You've never seen Dulmer not complete
I know,
away.
Dulmer doesn't fall.
That was pretty amazing. The read on that little double up. Great stall.
Round of applause for Damien.
That would have been a good score in the main event.
Oh, totally.
Good to see these old boys.
We've hardly seen anyone barreled all week.
That's true, we haven't.
That was so
you seen?
sick.
Yeah, that was awesome. Good to see.
All right, we've got more to come with 4 world champions battling it out here at North Stain. Stay with us. This is the Australian Open of Surfing.
There's a bit of magic going on out here, Ronnie Blakey.
Oh, there sure is, Lane Beachley. A beautiful day at Manly, and the Australian Open has been blessed by beautiful weather all week, but also very fun conditions, perfect beach break conditions, a nice little right-hand rip bowl, and when the tide drops out, a little left comes into play, and we're seeing a couple of surfing Hall of Famers here in Australia fight it out in a Legends heat. World champs galore out in the water, and world titles galore in the commentary booth at all. None of them belonging to Sean Doherty and myself, but Lane Beachley's got 7. But Barton Lynch has just stomped a beautiful big floater out there, Lane.
Yes, well, as we heard him when he was talking to Richie, get me out of there. I don't want to be talking about it. I want to be surfing and allowing my surfing to do all the talking for me. That was a really big committed floater, and how he got his nose back to facing the beach and landed it, protecting that old hip.
That was sick.
That was sick. That was really
totally
good to see.
I wish we had a bit of an idea of what the scores were being thrown down here.
Are we scoring this?
Let's score it.
Well, I still think that Damien Hardman's out in front with that barrel, and he also had a sick ride at the start with a couple of big hits. But we've seen a number of good waves from Barton Lynch as well. He's been slicing away a big float.
I want to see some more action from the Occhi.
Ox had one left. One thing's for sure, they're all in pretty good nick. Of course, well, Barton and Tom have done, and Ock actually have done big stints in Hawaii in the past, the past month or two. You can see Ock is in good form. There's the backhand. And again,
I'm going to cry.
Hey,
classic.
The funny thing was, it was only 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago. Ock had a couple of results at the start of the year and was looking at going back on the QS.
Yeah.
He was on the QS.
He was.
He got the trestles. He was on his way to a huge finish there. And
the Raging Bull.
had some sponsorship commitments which sort of took him out of a couple of events. And as a result, he sort of slipped down the ratings a little bit by the year's end. But Ock is just all time. And let's have another look at Duma's barrel on the inside just moments ago.
Yeah, it's like a little alley wave at Narrabeen. Just a little check stall under the lip, just pops out clean. And as Duma does, just puts the full stop on it there with a nice little finish.
An insider at North Narrabeen.
Yep.
Very tidy.
Very tidy. He spent many years surfing down here at Manly.
He did, but I was just trying to think, when do you reckon the last time it was that Damien Hardman came out here at Manly and surfed? I think it's probably been...
It'd be a while.
An age.
Yeah, no one from Narrabeen surfs down here.
No.
Don't take offence, Lane, unless they have to.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I'm happy with that. They can stay up there.
It's amazing how tribal the northern beaches are.
Very territorial.
And these headlands really define your territory as to where you go and where you surf. And if you come from Narrabeen, you don't surf Manly. If you come from Manly, you don't get away with Narrabeen. That's for sure.
That's for sure.
And this beach has a little bit of that. You know, we've got the pipe separating North Stain from Queenscliff and Lane. The North Stain crew, they don't generally venture north of that pipe.
They don't generally venture north or south of North Stain. Oh, BL, looking smooth and fluid. Liking what I'm seeing from these boys.
All style.
North Stain, yes, we're talking about territories. Manly has 4 distinct territories, and North Stain is definitely the most tribal, almost sometimes hostile environment. But when I went up to Narrabeen, I went surfing at Monavale recently, and I paddled out there, and one guy looked at me and went, "What are you doing out here?" Like,
didn't get your visa stamp.
Surfing? Am I not allowed out here? It's like we've become known for the territories in which we surf, and we must stay there.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah,
well, here we go.
Great rivalries. Ock just blowing the tail, and he's just tried to hang onto that.
Almost rode out of that thing.
Well, Ock's got the classic surfer body, right, with the short legs and the really super long torso.
Yeah.
And the really strong...
The centre...
Look at the size of that. I mean, just the middle part of his trunk.
The centre of gravity in his ankles.
Yeah. Such a strong, powerful surfer. He's always been one of my favourite surfers.
Yeah, Ock's been on he was in Hawaii. Of course, went over with his young son, Jay, who was a little ripper.
Of course.
As well, so he's in Hawaii. But he's also been doing a lot of training at the back end of last year with Nam Baldwin.
For any reason?
Getting super fit. No, just because he can.
Fair enough.
He's actually had... Oh, goodness.
Who's that?
And he didn't come out. Yeah, it'd be Duma again, I reckon. Yeah, Ox he actually had a bad back for most of last year. And finally shook it off. And then, got training hard, got in shape, which is Ox's thing to do. You know, when Ox's in shape, he's dangerous.
Yeah.
BL.
Barton just stalling. Look at this wave.
Oh, he got clipped on the back.
Oh, he was in there. That thing just ran away without him. But, yeah, Ock's been training with Mick.
Yep.
Fanning. So,
Wow.
those guys have been working hard.
Mick's got to be one of the fittest athletes on tour, doesn't he? Hardest working, hardest training.
Definitely.
Oh, Duma laying into that one.
Ooh.
And, yeah, kicking out.
Didn't come out of it on his front foot. That was almost a drop wallet turn.
Yeah, it was going there.
Shauno, I'll start with you. Let's think about a highlight career moment or inside or outside of competition for each of these surfers, starting with Occhi.
Oh, boy. Okay. So I can think of 50, and so I'm just trying to narrow it down to one here right now. Okay, I'll go the skins event at Bells Beach in 1997, which was part of his comeback. Yeah, when he won like 55 grand, blitzed the field, and that was the impetus actually for his comeback for his world title.
Well, let's find out what Tom Carroll's career highlight moment is. He's out there in the lineup with Richie Lovett.
Yeah, thanks, Ron. Here with Tom Carroll. 2 weeks ago, you were taking 40-footers at the Bay, and now we're at 3-foot, 4-foot Manly.
Well, it's a bit different, that's for sure. There's no water moving. It feels like there's nothing moving out here, but actually there is, and there's the last couple of sets weren't too bad. So, yeah, watching Occhi from behind on that one set was really killer. Just love seeing how much water he moves.
As a grommet, I remember watching you just down the way there at Queenscliff in the 88-89 Coke Classic against these guys. Are the competitive juices starting to flow?
Well, it just happens naturally, you know. You kind of start sort of searching out the advantage somehow. It's just underlying every move we do, you know. We can't help it.
Awesome stuff, Tom. I'll let you get a couple more. Good luck. Smash it up, buddy.
Cheers, Rich. Tom Carroll, his performances at Pipe, for me, stand out, but that big frontside snap performed right in the guts of a Pipe monster is unforgettable, and an image that is as iconic as Tom is himself. That sort of stands out. But another one for Occhi. He had a couple of Bells moments. His 98 comeback, the victory down there, that was huge, dedicating the win to his dad. And here goes Tom, straight out of an interview into a big frontside hit. But Lane, let's move along. Barton Lynch, career highlight for Barton.
It'd have to be winning the world title, wouldn't it?
Oh, big time. And the circumstances.
Yes.
Going into the last event in third spot.
Yep, at Pipe.
And overcame this man for the title.
Yeah, it was funny, all those couple of years, 87 and 88, all of these guys were in this crazy world title duel. One was here at Manly in 87.
Oh, that was sick.
That was a sick turn for Occhi.
Where three of them, where everyone except for Occhi was in the world title mix. So Tom, BL and Duma were in the world title mix at the Coke Classic, which was the last event of the tour. And of course, Duma took it out. BL had a chance to do it on his home beach, and it didn't happen for him. He just, like, get him started on it, and he's still feeling the burn.
I think one
but then that set him up, of course, Lane, for the following year,
exactly,
which was an even crazier situation because the last event of the year was the Billabong Pro, and they held it at the most perfect pipe, most perfect pipe they ever seen. And BL came from the clouds. He was third or even fourth, maybe, going into that last day as
boys are doing some crossovers.
BL trying to kill each other.
I think one of Damien's lowlights was, well, I don't know. I mean, we all do what we can to win, right? But do you remember that heat that he had? I think it was with Brad Gerlach in the final of the Coke Classic down here at Narrabeen, and Duma had priority somehow, and Brad took off, and Duma paddled towards the wave and pretended to duck dive it, and then turned around and came out of it and stood up, and then Brad got the interference. Do you remember that?
I'd say that's a competitive highlight.
That is a competitive beast. He is a competitive beast.
You brought up the world title that Barton lost here, and obviously that brings up Damien's career highlight.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. Well, BL's heartbreak was better news for Duma.
That's true.
Because it was Duma's day in 87, so Duma won his first.
I like that,
Duma's day.
That's so Duma won his first world title right here at Manly in 87.
And how much of a highlight would that be, winning your world title on the Northern Beaches where you grew up?
Well, the highlight would have been to get the front page of the Manly Daily.
Oh, that's
just to highlight it. I mean, when Dion 100%. Atkinson goes home after winning this event, the highlight's going to be seeing his face on the front page of the paper.
The Adelaide Advertiser.
Absolutely. I mean,
he's got a tough draw.
Every event you win is a highlight, but to win it in front of your home crowd at home and having your family there to help to celebrate it with you is fantastic.
And what will they be doing in Rome, Italy, if Leonardo Fioravanti can get the win? Hey, hanging a poster off him.
Limoncello.
Off the Leaning Tower.
Watching the soccer, maybe.
Well, let's check in with Richie Lovett once again. He's out there in the water with the world's best.
Yeah, Dummer, 87, mate. The crowd looked a little bit similar to this when you won the world title. How you feeling?
Yeah, it was a pretty big crowd. I think it was actually bigger than this, but the waves are fun and it's good surfing with these guys again.
And you just shared away with BL there. Slight contrast to how you guys were back in the day.
Yeah, a few more than that.
Richie. And, oh, there he is.
That's
it.
it.
Just cut straight to the vision of Dummer. In fact, that's exactly what his first wave looked like.
Yeah.
He might have...
Well, except for that bit.
Vintage Dummer might have taken out Grommet Dummer back in the day.
Dummer has not changed a bit. It's funny how the boards have become smaller.
Yeah, I know. They look so big, don't they, the boards back then?
Oh.
Dummer,
And
of course, rocking the double deck grip.
the double deck gorilla
Full
grip.
deck.
Yeah, full
Love
deck
it.
gorilla grip. But how funny is it when they're being interviewed and they cannot keep their eyes off the lineup?
That is
They're like, "What? You're holding
amazing.
me back from wanting to get back out there and compete."
Well, it looks fun out there at the
It
moment,
does.
and it is shaping up very well conditions-wise for a couple of big finals here at the Australian Open of Surfing. Here's Occhi,
Yes.
all-time style. I've seen him let go of some of the biggest turns in this heat. Big backhand snap just moments ago, and he let
Whoa.
go of one of the best forehand snaps.
Well, it's just that power that he has in his legs. He can just set himself up so beautifully, and no matter what power is coming at him, he can easily match it.
How good was the documentary
Oh,
when it came out? Jack McCoy did a beautiful job with that movie. Great soundtrack.
what about
And
these
told the story of Ock's comeback.
grab rail bottom turns?
Can't get enough.
Yeah, of course, Ock's story is the classic fairy tale comeback. You know, I mean, the child prodigy, because everyone expected Ock. Ock came on tour and went within a whisker of winning a world title at 17 in 1984.
And then what happened?
And then, well, he had too much fun, basically.
Ate too many Tim Tams.
Yeah, well, he got the Pro Tour back in those days it was a bit of a party tour. It went to cities, and and it kind of got away from Ock, and he ended up burnt out. Like, there's a lot of events too. There was 27 events a year he went to. Seen BL, big backhand float for BL. And Ock was cooked. He was done with it, and then just walked away altogether and laid on his lounge and put on weight and
Gave it all up.
and he reckons the idea of becoming the world champ, once there was 1,000,000 to 1
Yeah.
in his head.
How old were you when you watched the documentary, Ronnie? Do you remember?
I think I was about 19.
Yeah. So what impact did it have on you when you saw that?
Look, for me, I was like when I was a kid, I caught just the tail end of sort of Ock's fame, really. I think he'd already started stepping away from competition, but we'd still see him around because by that stage he'd moved to the Gold Coast, and I remember going to watch some of those early Billabong events. As we see Richie Lovett there. Call the action for us, Rich.
Talk it up, Rich.
Oh, whoa! Watch the striker, the prosthesis there, mate. But Rich takes a fall. But yeah, I used to see Ock up there hanging around the Billabong events. That was when it was the QS contest on the Gold Coast, and I think it was just that trickle-down effect of my peers talking about Occhi surfing. It had that MP kind of mystique about it. He was just such a legend. And when he was so identifiable, obviously, at an event. When you saw him, you just couldn't wait to go up and get his autograph. I've got his autograph from 92, an event up there. And I've also got Barton's from that same year. And, yeah, then to watch him disappear and then obviously return was just all time.
Well, Ock was the first VHS surf star. When surf
That's
movies
right.
went to VHS and kids, you could get them and you could rewatch them and wear the tape out. Ock was the first guy. The Billabong surf into summer, then into Jack's, into McCoy's movies. They were like, and Ock was a star.
And then Sarge 1 to 27.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's the big thing too. Ock, he was the star of some of those McCoy films, Bunyip Dreaming, Green Iguana. He was featured heavily in those. So even though he wasn't on the CT at that point in time, we were still getting that free surfing vision, and it was a nice break from, at the time, that wasn't really the dream tour that we've come to know. So watching someone in quality waves who surfed that well
Just pumps you up,
Was
inspires
gold.
you. Yeah, it was gold.
Well, okay, well, there we go. I think that was the hooter.
That was it.
Duma's on the beach. Duma's beached it. What do you reckon?
I reckon
Who's
Duma won that heat.
Well, it's all tied up as far as I can tell. A great performance from everyone, but Damien
Brilliant.
Hardman getting that barrel certainly put on a strong show. Impeccable wave selection from Duma again.
The Iceman.
We've got to get BL in. This is going to be a challenge.
Which one's
not-
BL?
The
one
hairy
with
one.
hair, yeah. We'll have to paddle him up. Pretend Richie's got priority and paddle him up the beach.
Yeah, Ock coming in. Tommy
That
as well.
was very entertaining
Yeah, that
to
was
see
fun.
those boys out there. That was great.
Massive opportunity for all the fans on the beach to
Great show.
get in nice and close, get a photo with some Australian surfing legends. I mentioned it earlier. All of these guys are Hall of Famers here in Australia.
Tom,
And
how
they're
was it
buzzing.
out there, mate? Still ripping?
Oh, it was pretty fun, yeah. There's actually some fun little waves. Yeah, I saw Ock go nuts on one. Went nuts on that really nice one, eh? Spoon.
That was a pretty nice ride, but everyone seemed to get good waves.
Yeah.
We were all up and down the beach, rights,
Yeah,
lefts, everything.
yeah.
I saw BL got barreled. Duma was ripping.
A little head dip, but yeah, it was fun. I saw your head go down.
And Duma, special place for you here, Manly Beach, winning world title here.
Yeah, it's good, you know, it sort of reminds me of the day I won it. You know, it's sunny and the waves are fun, and it's actually good surfing out with these guys when we're not actually getting scored. You know, we can actually surf and have a bit more fun.
And Ock, who do you think took that one out? Oh, no, I don't know. No one was scoring. I think we all did.
Yeah, it's just fun to be out there with the boys.
All right, well, amazing stuff. Yeah, looking forward to these two finals. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Unreal, boys, the legends.
Cheers, JJ. And I'm with Ock. I think they're all winning. Great performances from all of them.
Surfing was the winner then, Ron.
That's right. Well, we are definitely going to get some results out of the next two heats. Coming up next, the Aussie Bodies Women's Pro. Don't go anywhere. This is the Australian Open of Surfing.
As we see the first wave going to red. We're certainly there.